If you're seeing this, then this is your Tarot Tuesday message. Hello, my name is Lara, and whether you've been here before or this is your first time, come on in. We're gonna chat a little bit and take a look at the week ahead, the next 7 days. We've got some tarot cards, we've got some oracle. We'll talk a little bit about the astrology. We'll see what we can maybe expect coming up, so we can work with that for whatever that's worth. Okay, whatever that means. This video is here for you on July 29th, 2025, and it's taking us through August 4th, right? Yeah, that looks right. So if you're finding this video on or within that week, on July 29th or within that week, then amazing. This is what are all collectively, as far as like, astrologically speaking, this is where we are in this space and time, like in the forecast in the sky, right? If you're not finding this on July 29th or within that 7 days, that also is fine, because time isn't linear. So, whatever messages are here, you're connected with the energy in some way for some reason. And whatever messages are here, hopefully you resonate with them. And you will know what's right for you, okay? No matter when you're finding this. This is a general reading, so it's not going to be super specific to your situation, because we're talking about everybody who's here. That includes me too, girl, so don't you worry. But yeah, so it may not be super duper specific. Sometimes it's one or both of a thing. You know what I mean? You know your situation best. I encourage you to use your own brain, okay? And I don't know, make decisions for yourself while you still can, okay? You know what's right for you, okay? All I can hope for is that there's something that you find insightful here, something that you resonate with, something that's helpful, and at the very least, this will be entertaining. I think whether or not you find anything insightful or helpful, my goal is to be entertaining. It's for entertainment purposes, okay? Legally speaking. Yes. Okay, so with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into it. The astrology of this week, I didn't do a lot of super in-depth study, but we are coming off of the new moon in Leo that we had last week. The heat is turned up. We have had a little bit of a break with some of the Schumann resonance, but the energy is coming back again. There's a lot of solar energy and flares and things that have been happening, in case you're feeling worn down. Also, it is where I am, it's peak summertime, so that affects things as well. The heat, Leo season, very fiery, right? Also, so that was last week. So it was a big week last week. And Mercury also has very recently gone retrograde. Saturn and Neptune were already in retrograde. There's a lot of activity. There's a lot of movement as well. Things are doing a lot of conjuncting and squaring and all that kind of stuff. And that's not the stuff I really know too much about. But also we are in the Mercury retrograde for sure. These other planets are retrograding. Hugely reflective time at the moment is where we are. Interestingly enough, in this really big Leo energy. So yeah, reflective about our plans, how we're standing in our truth, calling our power back for a lot of us. And this week we have, I think I misunderstood from last week, because I think last week I said that Chiron had already gone retrograde. It hadn't. So we were in the shadow phase. It's going retrograde this week on the 30th, okay? So day after this video comes out, Chiron will also be retrograde. So more reflection. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. And the idea that like healing, somebody who has the ability to heal others because they have healed their own wounds and their own trauma. So Chiron talks a lot about our trauma, and also brings medicine to heal said trauma. So don't be surprised when that starts coming up. Chiron is retrograde in a sign that I don't know right now. I'll probably know more about it later, but for right now, we'll just know he's going retrograde. Also, in other news, it seems that it has been officially like confirmed or proven there's another planet in our solar system. Is that right? The planet 9, which that's if you're not counting Pluto as a planet. Pluto technically, right, is a dwarf planet. There's been debate about Pluto for a while, but it's still a planet, but it's a dwarf planet. It's very small. This one is apparently very big, all the way out there. And it takes, you know, what was it that I was watching? Something like 10 to 20,000 years to do one orbit around from where it's at. Okay, this is my understanding as of now. I have a feeling more will be revealed, okay? But that's also happened. There's more planets than you thought there were. Ew. And I guess this is like, you know, I mean, this is a huge discovery. So we'll see what it's giving, where we're going to have a new archetype that comes with this planet, okay? Because some of the outer planets too, these haven't been discovered, you know, they were discovered more recently. So, because you just couldn't see past. But I guess like people have kind of sort of known or suspected that it was there, and now there's like a visual confirming it. So anyway, that's what's up. We're going to find out what that means, you know. This year, last year. Yay! The times, they are a changin', but we, I think, should go ahead and dive in for our week and see kind of what this energy, knowing what we know for now, okay, and how that is going to play into our week, and what's that going to bring up for us as a collective? What collective themes, behaviors, patterns that that's here, what are we going to be dealing with? So let's go ahead. I've got my Oracle of Mystical Moments as per usual, and we're going to see what vibe, what theme of our week do we have. So could we please see one card here for just like a theme, a focus, a theme of focus, right? Okay, love it. I love this card so much. Just it's so pretty. I think with the yellow and the blue. The perfect key. Yes, the perfect key. So we have this figure here who is holding a key. There's the little bird friend on the shoulder as well with a fuller key ring. So there's more keys to request for access. And in the bird cage is the heart with the lock. So there's elements of protection here, protected emotions, unlocking said emotions, feelings, okay? Yeah, I could see this as a few things, to be honest. I could see this going a few ways. Let's see what the book wants to say. The perfect key. 29. That's where we're starting our week too. Crazy. Ooh, unlock feelings. Yeah, okay, so happiness, encouragement, unlock feelings. Happiness with all this yellow. This card shows a woman holding a key in one hand and a cage with a heart in it in the other. There's a bird sitting on the woman's shoulder, encouraging her to try different keys with his mouth. Yet the woman has already found the perfect fitting key. She can open the cage and open her heart. Sometimes life is only a search for the right key. There are so many things that are hard for us to approach. We can have trouble accessing our own feelings. Thanks to friends and family, there are people who can help us find the lost keys to our personal happiness. Okay. So happiness, unlocking feelings. I could see this as like a spectrum of feelings because we do have Chiron going into retrograde. So feelings coming up around the wounding that you carry, but also kind of like this idea of like the medicine is in the wound, but you know, the happiness is the medicine. Like there's happiness that's unlocking with all of the other stuff. If that makes sense. It's a spectrum of emotion, right? You're freeing these deeper, more painful emotions, but that is freeing you up for the happiness as well to come in. The happiness also, the happiness and the joy is what helps you to transmute the grief and the sadness. Okay. Weirdly enough. So interesting. Okay, let's see. We've got our spicy oracle as well. Let's see what we've got for spicy oracle. 1, 2, 3. Where you want to take us? Ooh, I got one of each. Okay, we have step aside, prove it, problem solved. So it's almost like the key that we have, it's like finding evidence of something. Maybe it's finding evidence of the happiness, right? Like you've got this key, step aside, like I'll take care of this. And this is like something that I think this is like a block that finally there is this key. The key has something to do with finding happiness. Or the happiness is the key. So there's that. If you wanted the answer, that's what it is. And it is this sense of like, once that light bulb clicks, that aha moment happens, then there's this process of embodiment. Like, step aside, because now I can show myself, or I think this is more about like for you. And it really does feel like this big question mark or this problem is now solved going forward. So there's that. Maybe even more of a sense of ease in leaning into the happiness, because maybe you've already known that the happiness is the key, but it's difficult for you to lean into the happiness, which is also okay, right? Because you're not ready until you're ready. But it looks like you're ready, just with what I'm seeing right now. Okay, so let's see if I'm right about that. Okay, could we please have 3 cards to show us the energy that's taking us through the week, please? Could we have those 3 cards to show us what we're moving through this week? Okay, that's 1. 2 more, please. 2 more. You want to come out here? Okay, there you are. Okay. What do we got? Oop. 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 Okay. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's see if we can make some sense of this. We're going to start with our shadow cards at the bottom of the deck. This representing our subconscious. And this energy here is just below the surface. So this is what's controlling everything in your life at this point in time. Right here, we have the High Priestess. She's in the reverse position. So this is indicating some intuitive blockages, maybe some distrust in your own intuition, feeling like a third eye chakra block, perhaps. Some sense of, I think I think there's a fear that you're not seeing the truth, kind of, if this makes sense. Not that you're like intentionally keeping things from yourself, but this lack of like faith in your own intuition is because, there's always something buried deep down in the subconscious. So that kind of makes sense to me. You can't really trust, there's always something that you don't understand that is in control of how you're operating. That's your subconscious. That's what it does. Okay. So, and there's so many things, but that I think is really, that is sort of getting in the way of seeing the real truth in the success that you have made up until this point, the 9 of Cups, like feeling really good about yourself and what you've done, and where you are, also the future successes here that you're already on your way towards. Because with the Star card, there's a lot here this is a card of healing for sure. So there's been a lot of healing happening, a lot of connecting to this source energy. Okay. Maybe even, working on getting in touch with that higher self, letting the higher self come through, right? Instead of, letting ego and the subconscious distort and distract from things. Okay. And a sense of like really tapping into what it is that you actually want, who it is that you actually are. Okay. And filling the needs of who you actually are. Because some of us are out here not identifying who we actually are and what we actually need. And we're seeking to have needs met that like are not for us, who we are meant to be, if that makes sense. But lots of hard work is going into this. Okay. So just know that, like there's an internal emotional manipulation at play, and don't let that distort your perception and think that you are creating or living from a place of ego, or creating from a place of ego. Because this is just you figuring out how to do something that you've never done before. Okay. So maybe that was a long way to say like something about imposter syndrome. I don't know. Hopefully that helped. As far as, so that's what's going on underneath it all. As far as what's happening in our week, it's possible that a lot of this doubt that's coming up is because 8 of Cups, this is where we ended this was definitely I'm confusing tarot readings. Sometimes it blends. But anyway, this card came out in the full moon in Leo reading. Okay. And it is our first card here on the table. So we're still connected to this energy, the things that we have left behind in order to walk into a new light here. We're still very much working with this energy. We're still very much letting ourselves go. So if you did some release stuff around the new moon, I want to say keep going with it. Okay. Maybe do another little quick, like clearing, cleansing, just to get the week started. Okay. Making this a priority through the next week, perhaps. All right. Because I feel like there's something lingering here, even though you're walking away from it, but there is still something here. Now, on our way to this new place. I mean, we have the 10 of Cups energy is showing up next to the 8 of Cups, and then we have the 6 of Swords in the reverse position. So I'm seeing more baggage coming up. I definitely see how we are walking towards and into our like happy ending. This is emotional fulfillment. Okay. This can be family if that's what you want. That's not for everybody, but it is whatever like that happy ending looks like, whatever is over that rainbow for you. They're literally sitting on a rainbow. Yeah. That emotionally fulfilling, something that's certainly emotionally fulfilling it through the long term, right? We are walking it towards this. All right. So there's no doubt there, but I think especially with Chiron going into retrograde, what's going to be highlighted as we're continuing to move forward into our 10 of Cups energy, which is like exciting happiness because we're doing it. I really feel like we're on the road here. But with Chiron, especially going into retrograde, the 6 of Cups here is indicating for me there is more baggage coming up around maybe receiving this happy ending. Okay? Because we're walking away from things that are no longer serving us. We are already sort of letting go of a lot of baggage here. But with the 6 of Cups, we're going deeper into it. It's almost like, you know, what is this image I'm getting? It's like I'm seeing things being thrown overboard. Okay. Or I'm seeing this as an opportunity to this week as an opportunity to really hone in and see what exactly is that emotional baggage that we're still carrying as we're walking into our happy ending here. Because we're already well on our way. That's obvious. Okay. I think this was sort of the energy of like with the new moon in Leo, the energy of calling our power back and walking away. Whereas this is like, okay, now that the power has been called back, now we need to identify what are we voluntarily choosing to carry that does not come with us. You know what I mean? You don't need it. You can ditch it. Does that make sense? And how that is connecting with the perfect key is that emotional release. Unlocking those emotions as they're coming up. There is some sense of happiness now because I think we really are identifying and proud of ourselves and excited for ourselves that we are on our way. Right? So holding space for all of that together is the process. Yeah. So there's no need to doubt yourself necessarily. Because you literally are holding the key. Okay. Does that make sense? That's what I've got for us for this week. I hope that makes sense to you. I think that makes some sense to me. You know, I mean, we're going to see, right? But I feel like if you feel something that you're hanging, there's, you know, when you feel that you're hanging on to something, identifying that and like, is that something that you really need to be taking with you here? The version of you that exists here in this place doesn't need whatever you're carrying. So yeah. Anyway, that's what I've got. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you were able to find some insight, maybe some clarity. Maybe you had a chuckle or two. Maybe you had a profound shift. Okay. All of it is perfect and all of it is sacred and all of it is holy. So, yeah. Thank you for being here with me. if you like this video, please like it, share it. You can subscribe to my YouTube. What else? There's all kinds of, you can connect with me on the other platforms. There's more information down below. There's always going to be more to come with me. And yeah, I am going to see you through all this energy. I'll be right here with you, and we will come back together next week. So I will see you then on the other side.